This time I would call the June meeting of the MSC and North Posey School Board to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And Dr. Walden, if you would please read our vision, mission, core beliefs, and high priorities.
Sure. Our vision statement is we inspire all students to achieve their potential for learning and life in a safe and supportive environment. Mission is that we partner with our community to create a dynamic and innovative educational experience, empowering students to become educated, productive, and responsible citizens. Our core beliefs are that we believe our community is vital to our educational success. Everyone is valued and treated with respect, and always telling the truth, an educational opportunity for all, student-centered programs challenging and inspiring learning, in the pursuit of excellence through a strong sense of pride. And our 4 high priorities are to enhance the student experience, invest in all administrators and staff, foster strong relationships among all, and maximize our resources.
Thank you. I'm assuming we have no patron concerns.
Looks like it.
So we are on to minutes, claim docket, and consent items. If you don't care to just skim through those for us
Yep.
quickly.
So under our consent items, obviously you have your minutes from the May 12th, 2025 meeting, our claim docket from the period of May 13th, 2025 to June 9th, 2025. Then we have the following resignations and retirements for the 24-25 school year. Kelsey Carden resigning as teacher and head boys soccer coach at North Posey High School effective May 23rd. Amber Pickens resigning as instructional assistant at North Posey Junior High School effective May 23rd. Following hiring and transfer requests for the 25-26 school year, Mindy Brandenstein hire as a cafeteria worker for North Posey Junior Senior High. Ashley Ricketts, cafeteria worker for North Posey Junior Senior High. Crystal Zenthofer, hire as a cafeteria worker for North Elementary. We also have a 1-year renewal on our dental insurance with our group dental plan. The rates remain unchanged, and just as a reminder, this is a self-pay. Employees pay this all 100%. 1-year renewal with Youth First that will run August 1st, 2025 to May 31st, 2026 to employ and provide the clinical supervision of 2.8 full-time equivalent mental health providers. And that contract is $127,000, $127,400, and about $90,000 of that is still in the VSCA grant. So there is still some grant dollars paying for that. And just as a reminder, we do, in order to receive our safety grant, that Indiana safety grant each year, we do have to verify that we have a MOU or a contract with a mental health provider. And then finally, approval of the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding with the Posey County Health Department to provide transportation services and facility use in case of a public emergency.
Thank you. I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent items as presented.
I'll make the motion.
Second,
I'll second.
any discussion on these?
I had a couple questions on the claim docket. There's a line item for rock for bus 20 and 28. I'm just curious, are we providing rock for buses that are parked at drivers' homes? Is that
It's
what?
been done
Correct.
for years.
Okay. I was assuming that's what I couldn't think of any other reason we'd be putting rock for the bus, but the contract for the copiers. And again, I apologize because I'm new, so I'm learning all this stuff. So I see line items where we buy toner, I see where we buy paper, and then I see where we're charged several $1,000s for copies. So the contract is only for maintenance on the copier, and we pay per copy, but we have to provide all material. Is that how it works?
Typically, yeah, it's a lease on a copier, basically.
All right.
And you provide all the material.
But the lease is based on how many copies we run.
Yes.
Gotcha. Wear and tear on the equipment, kind of like miles on lease.
Right.
Gotcha.
Noticed a roof repair on North Elementary. Was this the leak? Do we know that they've had, or is it,
No.
that's something else?
I'm assuming it was the leak, because that's the last thing I've heard about, but I can double check that. I don't.
In the first grade room? Yeah.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah, that was about.
When we went through, there was trash
Yeah.
in there, I think.
Yeah.
Does anyone have anything else on
This,
consent?
this, for the mental health providers, I appreciate you saying that the safety grant makes us have, basically make us have this position to even get the safety grant, correct? Like that we have to.
We just have to have an MOU, an agreement with a mental health provider. It doesn't dictate
Actually,
how many social workers, if we have actual,
it's
like
just
it's
something.
an agreement with a mental health provider. So I haven't dug into that to know exactly what the parameters, but we do have to sign off every year when we fill out the safety grant that we do have a contract with a mental health provider.
Okay, so in this one, you said we have 90,000 to go towards that.
Mhm.
How long do we expect to have that 90,000? Like next year, is that gone and we have to look at something else?
That was a
Or-
3-year grant that we had. It was a $400,000 3-year grant.
Okay,
And so there's about $91,000 left in that grant. And so, yeah, I try to find a grant, and there's usually some that roll out with the state. So we'll be looking this year for another grant.
okay, thank you.
Who exactly is that covering? I mean, which positions?
It covers our youth first social workers.
Okay.
We have one at each of the
High school.
elementary
We do have
schools.
one of these. elementary.
And then we have one that's shared between junior high and high school.
Okay,
And it's 2.8 full-time equivalency because our employee at South Terrace is a 0.8. She actually isn't there the 40 hours a week.
The line item that is Crane Credit Union memorandum says teacher app day superintendent comp. I don't know what the conference, I'm assuming that's teacher appreciation day. What were we paying Crane for a teacher appreciation? I'm confused by that one.
I don't know.
Okay.
But I can get you an answer.
Okay. And then I want to reiterate my concern with Amazon services. This is every month, but given conversations that we had last meeting about things that got purchased, when I'm seeing an entire page and a half of $14,799 that the notes just say spring supplies, spring supplies, spring supplies, any spring supply. I just have concern that there's,
We ought
Does
to have
anybody even know
access to
what's
that
being done?
somewhere. Like,
Right,
there should be a
it's-
folder somewhere, I guess, that we could look and say,
and I know we have a lot of classrooms and we need a lot of supplies, and I'm not saying that $15,000 is not appropriate.
I mean, the oversight with that rests with the principal as it stands now, right?
That's my understanding.
Mhm.
There's a little bit of a dual control, not a little bit, there is, that it is signed off by the principal, then comes up here and gets ordered. And so when it gets ordered up here, it is gone through. And sometimes things are sent back and said, no, that's not,
Right.
that doesn't.
everything is ordered through here then. They don't order from the individual schools, okay?
For this group of things. The schools
Okay.
can order
Order.
things, but anything you're gonna see on a claim docket here is gonna be ordered here.
Anything else on consent? Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. On to new business. Dr. Wald.
All right, tonight we have handbooks from North Posey Junior High, North Elementary, and South Terrace for the 25-26 school year. We anticipate the high school yearbooks coming next month. Not yearbooks, handbooks.
We will be looking to approve those in July then.
Yep.
Okay, Dr. Bowman.
What do you want to approve, the ones that were here, or do you want to wait
Let's
for
do them
all?
all at once.
Okay.
And I say that because I think I have an updated North Elementary that may have only been sent to me. I didn't see that it was updated. And the only change I saw was with the shorts policy.
Mhm.
It looks like they changed it a little bit, but I didn't catch it. I think it only was sent to me for some reason.
Oh, it's not in the
I
shared
don't
drive?
think so.
Okay, we can
So,
check
so
that.
we're tabling all of these until July then, right?
Which, since it's on the agenda, that's a good point, Larry. We probably need a motion to table.
I'll make a motion to table it until next month when the other high school handbook is available.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second to table this to where they will all be voted on in the July meeting. Any comment on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
All right, next up we have just a recommendation that we go through and just approve, kind of a blanket approval of our Neola policies for the 25-26 school year. If you'll remember, many of the policies as we went through them had a caveat that annually you had to go back and review and approve it. And this was one of the notes. It wasn't really a finding, a note in our audit this year is that there were a couple of our policies that we didn't go back and approve. And so we thought we would just bring that in the summer, each summer, and just do a blanket reapproval of all of our policies. And go from there.
All right, so looking for a motion to approve all of the previously adopted Neola policies for the 25-26 school year.
We move we adopt, or approve the previously adopted Neola policies.
I'll second.
Any discussion on these? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Okay.
Dr. Wool.
All right, next we have the proposed capacity for transfer students for the 25-26 school year for your approval. This is going to be setting our capacity for transfer students only. So it's important to note that if obviously someone lived in the district, our capacity numbers would not matter. I mean, we accept all students that live in our district no matter what. This is just something that we're required to do annually before June 30th of every year to set those transfer numbers so that if a student outside of our district wanted to enroll, it gave us some guidelines on what we feel our capacity is by grade level.
All right, looking for a motion to approve the proposed capacity for transfer students.
I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
any discussion on these?
So I noticed, I think it was the junior high number was, we can exceed that, right? If we feel that the class structure is good enough and we can accept another student, we can accept more than that number if we're willing to.
Yes, you have in our Neola policy, it does give us the allowance to go above our capacity. Now, if we were to set that, it's a little bit different because we set our enrollment date all the way to the end of the school year. So we accept students all the way through the year. So the way that the policy reads can be a little bit confusing sometimes because it'll talk about you have to do a lottery. So like a lot of times schools will say that you have to enroll by August 30th. You know, something at the beginning of the year. And so if you had more students wanting to enroll in your school than your capacity allowed, then you would have to put everybody on a wait list and run a lottery of those students. Okay, so since we do a rolling enrollment all year long, if we say yes and then now we get to a capacity where we're at capacity at a certain grade level and someone wants to enroll, if we can still say yes, you can go over capacity. But if someone wants, you get 10 more the next month, it would have to be very careful about how that's done, so we're not being discriminatory in any way. So at some point, we might have to say, we're gonna hold enrollments for the next 30 days and run a lottery at the end of the month, or some sort of fair way if there was some weird influx of students. Does that make
Does that
sense?
ever happen?
In charters, it happens a lot, but not typically in traditional
Doesn't count
public schools. But, I mean, we're getting quite a bit of enrollments out of district right now, so
Mhm.
Didn't Evansville North, when they built a new building, have to cut off?
they did.
because-
Mhm. Yeah, so it's just important that we have to be fair, that we can't just stop enrolling for no reason or.
It is interesting you brought up that junior high because that next year's 8th grade class is a
It's
huge
big.
class. We know
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
But looking at those numbers, the sophomore class is caught up to that, which is.
Yeah, I saw that too.
It's interesting.
They had 130, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
129.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments on this? A motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Okay, next we have, 3 quotes, brought to us by our, band instructor, Ben Walden, our band director. And he would like to purchase actually 3 clarinets, 2 saxophones, and 2 trumpets. So that's an edit, on those numbers. He received quotes from Music and Arts, Sweetwater, and H&H. I have given each of you an updated Music and Arts quote with those new numbers, the 3 clarinets, the 1 saxophone, and the 2 trumpets. So I am recommending that we go with the Music and Arts vendor. It was the best cost for a total of $10,598.73. And this will be, some of it will come out of Title IV funding, and then the rest will come out of education funds.
I don't have any kids in band, so I really don't know how that works. Like, can a kid just say they want to play a saxophone? We have one.
So we do, and I don't, do you want to do a discussion or do you want to?
Sorry, I'm doing it wrong.
Let's just go ahead and discuss.
Okay, sorry, I didn't. So they do a try-on event at the different grade levels, and so they will offer, a lot of families will buy their own, but you can ask for assistance. You can say my kid would love to play the saxophone, but we don't have one, and I can't, and so Mr. Walden tries to make sure that we have
These
have
are
some.
for that situation, if somebody wants to play it and they can't, okay. That's what that's what I wondered, why. What, do most of the band members buy their own, or is it,
I don't know that.
I mean,
I know a lot
back in the day, they always, that's all I know, 50 years ago. So
I know he does a really good job of trying to give the kids the opportunity to play the instrument they want to play and give them a year or so to figure that out. And some of those instruments are pretty rough, really.
Mhm.
This is probably well needed.
I'm guessing this is, you can't cherry pick. Buy the trumpets from one vendor and buy everything else from another vendor. So it looked like the second vendor on the list, the trumpets were significantly cheaper, $1,000 a piece versus $1,526.
I feel like
Everything else was more expensive.
I think he mentioned
So-
that in his email that something about,
And they might not honor that price if you're not buying everything.
right.
But
I
I was
don't
just curious.
remember, but I feel like there was something addressed in his email about just trying to stay with one vendor.
Sure. And I didn't know if, back in a different lifetime, I played the trumpet, and I know a silver trumpet was more expensive than a brass trumpet, just a polished brass. I noticed the one from the other vendor says lacquer, LAQ, I guess that's lacquer. I don't know if that means just the brass color.
I would
But-
have no idea.
Can we get a lower cost trumpet if we just get a brass colored trumpet instead of a silver? Would be my question. that you would not have an answer for.
Yet I don't have an answer for, but it's certainly something we can relay back. It may be
Yeah.
something related to marching and they
Could
want,
be.
I don't know.
Okay.
But I can certainly, you guys have the power to approve provisionally, you can approve, however you would like.
Yeah. Like I said, there might be a reason why on the silver. It looks to me like that might be the only one. Yeah, no, the quote from Sweetwater, I don't think is a silver trumpet.
If that's something you'd like, I think the motion I would make then would be to approve up to this amount with a request to see if you can reduce the trumpet cost.
Sure. Yeah, I'm fine with that. That sound okay?
That's
Yeah.
your motion and I'll
Make the
second.
motion.
So I move that we approve the music and arts proposal up to the amount, the $10,598. But I would request that we see if the silver trumpet is really necessary. And if it is, it is. I mean, I'm not trying to do his job, but.
I didn't even know there was such thing as a different color, so.
Oh, yeah, because I wanted a silver and my parents wouldn't pay for it.
Right.
100% personal.
It is personal. No,
What was the
Trying to be a good
total
steward.
up to what amount?
This page.
Okay. The 10,598.73.
73.
I'll second that motion.
All right, so we have a motion to approve up to $10,598.73, but to look if the silver trumpet is,
We can get something for less.
Okay.
If the trumpet can be less cost. Or if it's even through a different vendor, kind of like you said.
I can understand wanting to keep it all with one vendor, because it's just simplicity's sake and warranty and that kind of stuff.
And the discounts might change as well.
and we have a second by Greg. Any other discussion on this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Most complicated motion in the book.
I'm sorry.
No, it worked.
Larry's still right.
I know what I wrote, nobody else.
All right, next we have the 2026-2027 academic calendar that was tabled last month. As noted, as last month, 3 calendar options were developed and shared with all employees for a vote and optional feedback. Total of 119 employees participated in the process with a 53.8% favoring option 1. And we are recommending that the board approve the 2026-27 academic calendar this year. Last month.
So approving option 1, is that what was recommended? Okay.
I'm gonna make a motion, we table it one more month.
We have a motion to table for 1 more month.
It's my understanding there's still some conversations being had about how it affects sports, and I don't think it should make that much difference one more month. I don't know how you guys feel, but
Just for clarity, it's not next year's calendar,
It's
it's
the
the
following.
following. Not think another month's gonna hurt anything on that.
53% isn't a huge majority there either, but that's 53% with 3 different choices, all right?
Right.
Correct.
Yeah, the others were at 20 something
Yeah,
apiece.
so it makes it quite a bit more than what they were.
So
Right, your
guess-
option 2 calendar was at 33% and your option 3 calendar was at 13.4% of approval rating.
I'd be interested to see what would happen if you had only 2.
that's what I was gonna ask is what action are we taking from this? Are we getting more data or are we just delaying it another month to table it?
It sounds to
What-
me like there's just more discussions being had with the athletics in the high school to see how it's affecting them to have the week-long break in
Let's
October.
attach that to this then.
Yeah.
We're gonna ask Mr. Slagle to have further conversations with the high
Right.
school administration.
Yeah, just so we can bring it to an end, I guess is what I'm saying.
Is it noted through the whole district that there is a problem with the sports schedule? I mean, do the North Elementary teachers know that that's an issue? Or is it just the high school is making an issue there or whatever? That's what I'm wondering, if it's,
I don't know if the elementaries know about it, but it seems a little unfair that there's more elementary people involved in the voting
yeah.
if it doesn't affect them.
I, as a former athletic director, am very much agreeing that that week during that month and the schedule is really,
It's right before big,
it is,
big things.
it is really a problem for several teams.
Well, the thing I noted on the feedback for me personally is I see some good feedback in opposition to a week fall break.
Mhm.
And pretty much the only positive feedback I see for a week fall break is I want more time off.
Yes.
Academically speaking, I don't think that's a good reason.
Mhm.
If there's a good reason academically for that, I'm all ears. But when we look at, there's some good reasons to not do that, whether it's, I see some feedback that says, I think that hurts academically, having that week right there. We've only been back to school for a month and a half, 2 months. And then obviously the financial and sports part of that, it's difficult for the athletes. And it takes a financial hit because we lose gate.
Mhm.
So I'm looking, for me personally, I'm looking for someone to give me, academically speaking,
Why it would be
good
good.
reasons for an entire week at fall break.
Why, how long have we been doing a whole week of fall break? And that's not been real.
Just a
That's
couple of
what I was gonna say. I just think it had been very long.
All right, so have a motion by Mrs. Bowers to table this until July and task Mr. Slagle to have further discussion with high school administration and determine the best way forward. Does that
Yeah,
work okay?
I promise not to table it again.
So we need a second on this.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion on this? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Dr. Ward.
Okay, next we have 3 quotes to install the projector and screen system at South Terraces Gymnasium. If you remember, we purchased this projector and screen probably nearly a year ago with ESSER dollars. And then we were having trouble finding someone to install it. And as you can see by the quotes, it's a lot to get it installed. Our Matrix is who we're recommending tonight. They came in at $21,818.61. Data Link at $27,509.29, and Melk at $38,023 even. And so this is a large, heavy screen. This matches the same setup that we have at North Elementary. For that screen and projector.
This is for the screen and the projector. And these companies are, I saw them someplace I looked at, and none of them was Sound Concepts or what was it? Concept
No.
Lighting. So I didn't think there was only one. I thought there was only one in Evansville that you can go to. I'm sorry, I'm being.
Ornery.
Yes, I'm being honored.
Looking for a motion to approve the quote from Matrix.
I'll make a motion to approve the quote from Matrix.
The second,
I'll second.
on to discussion. It truly blows my mind it costs that much to have these things installed. But the fact that we have 3 quotes and
And I think the driver for that is the framework for that projector screen. It's not just, put some anchors
Yeah.
up there and hang it. There's additional framework.
it's not something you would want falling on
No.
somebody's head. So.
No.
It's so crazy, isn't it?
It is crazy.
Mhm.
And I think with what we paid last year before, this is, well, maybe more in line, I believe. I don't know, because that was just repairing and replacing parts. And this is the whole outfit, isn't it?
We've already purchased the projector and the
Yeah,
screen.
this
This
does
is
not
not the
include-
projector and the screen. This is just to install them.
It's all the materials needed to
Right.
install.
Okay. Then I didn't read that right.
Yeah, it's a lot, and it shocked us. The first time we got the quote, which is why I had to get a new one, because it had expired, because it took us a long time. We were like, we need to
Mhm.
try to go look around. So we went and, had some other people come. We called around, asked other people. And like you can see, I mean, every quote came in a little higher, so.
Yeah, I thought it included everything. I thought everything was in this, okay.
I hope they use it a lot, that's all I can say.
Right.
Mhm.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. If there's no other discussion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
All right. All right, next we have, this item was actually tabled at the March 10th, 2025 meeting. Mr. Slagle requested the board approval to purchase a replacement vehicle for the 2010 Ford Fusion, which had been approved for surplus. A budget of $25,000 was proposed, and the board voted 4-1 to defer the decision until the June meeting. Following a review of the current usage of our district vehicles, I am now recommending that the district not proceed with the purchase of an additional vehicle.
Looking for a motion to approve this.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Ruth,
I'll
one
second.
Any discussion on this?
Thank you. That's awesome.
All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Personnel.
We have a request from Stacy Newman Smith, our food service director, to establish a new position in our food service titled dishwasher/closer for the North Posey Junior Senior High School cafeteria. Primary responsibilities of this position would include washing trays and dishes, removing trash during service, assisting student cafeteria workers, and performing kitchen closing duties. The role would not involve cooking, food preparation, or serving. Mrs. Newman Smith recommended a starting wage of $12.75 per hour for the position. If approved, the salary schedule for the position would be what's included in your packet.
Looking for a motion to approve the addition of a dishwasher closer position.
I'll make a motion to approve the position.
Second,
I'll second it.
any discussion on this?
So this is an entirely new position, not replacing someone who's left.
Correct. We've had some positions open over the last year or so and have wanted to move back to using plates and silverware, not the throwaway stuff. And
Oh,
they
okay.
have had some student workers been able to do this, but Mrs. Newman Smith felt like she needed. So we have, I'll tell you the job titles we have in food services. We have the food service director, we have a head cook, and then we have cafeteria worker. Those are the 3 different job titles that we have. So she's asking for another job title for this specific, because she feels like it's different enough from the food service worker that they're not going to be allowed to do the things that we just covered, not involve cooking or food preparation or serving. I mean, that was different enough that she felt like it needed kind of its own job description.
Other discussion, questions on this? I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. To professional leave.
Okay, we have the following professional leave requests for your approval tonight. We have Erin Deal from the elementaries going to the June 25th, 26th, 2025 IPLI Summer Seminar, and that's in Terre Haute, and will cost $264.25, and that will come out of Title II federal grant. Shannon McMunn to recertify in the SMC training. This is anytime we have to, in a crisis event, put hands on kids. It's through the SCM model, and she's our trained trainer, so she trains all of our employees, and she needs to go get recertified. That's in London, Kentucky, and that's $669 plus the van use, and that is being paid out of the Indiana MAC Medicaid fund. I also have a write-in here for Amber Olander from central office, June 13th, 2025, Harmony Dex training. So this is all of our state reporting and how that works with Harmony. And it's a virtual webinar that's going to cost $400. That'll come out of operations.
All right. The motion to approve the professional leave with addition.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion on these?
And this goes without saying, I'm assuming Shannon knows that wherever this is being held in London wasn't damaged by the tornado. Didn't London have massive damage in the tornado? Surely they would have notified if they were having issues with.
I'll remind her then.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Reports and information.
All right, on our renovation updates, we are still on track. They're telling us that we will be ready for students in the fall. So nothing new there. North Elementary has put out some information about their summer run walk group, so we wanted to make sure that got shared tonight. And then I brought a couple of things for you guys. The Indiana Department of Education on Friday announced the first draft of the Future of School Accountability in Indiana, and so we wanted to make sure that we shared that tonight. You all have copies of it, but we will make sure that there's links on the website as well. And the state is looking for feedback from parents, from teachers, from board members, and just on the new idea. So I have a little bit of information shared on that, that we did hear that each of the categories that have been included in this were statistically correlated as significant impacts for student success post-graduation. So that's something new with this accountability model, is that they spent some time looking at what actually makes the difference for kids. And then another unique aspect to this accountability model is that every student will receive a score, basically. They're going to earn points, right? And so you kind of can look through that. I have one too. On this one sheet or page that I shared with you, and like I said, I will put these on the website too. But like you can see at like grade 3, if they master their iLearn proficiency, English, language arts, and math, they're going to get a certain number of points. But then if they also have passed their iLearn 3 or iRead 3 and they have regular school attendance, they will earn additional points. And so you can think of it as like a 0 to 100 scale, and kind of your 90 to 100 is an A, and a 80. You know, you kind of have that scale. And I think in here in the PowerPoint they've got your scales there. But every student will basically be scoring points towards your accountability grade, and your overall grade is then an average of every student's points. So the data that we should be able to mine from this should be able to help us identify any students that are at risk, and help us with our school improvement plans in a unique way that we haven't had access before. And so obviously this is still a draft. We haven't seen what the data looks like on the other side. But I would encourage people to take a look at this and offer feedback to the state, because they are looking for feedback. And then the last thing I have for you, did anybody have any questions about this? Okay, the last thing I have for you is just kind of I don't know if it's a reminder. A year ago, we talked about our Title I dollars, and that traditionally, so we are a district Title I, a Title I district. So each year we get to we look at our overall need, where our most of our free and reduced population is, and we identify those needs. We submit what we call the pre-application to the state, and then we submit our applications for each of our federal grants, our Title I and our Title II and our Title IV. And so 2 years ago, we started talking about some discrepancies between North Elementary and South Terrace. And we also started noticing that South Terrace's free and reduced numbers were going up. And so this last year, South Terrace free and reduced count was at 30.2% and North Elementary was 42.3%. So South Terrace continues to climb a little bit. As in general, they use 40% as a rule of thumb to be called a Title I school. But if you are less than that and have good reason for what you're trying to do with your program, you can be approved as a school-wide program. So in order for us to be able to use some of our Title I dollars, some of the great work we're doing with those funds, and to share that with South Terrace, last year, if we would have done that, we would have had to do what they call targeted assistance only, which means the funds can only go to students that are considered free and reduced. We like the school-wide model better because it allows us to do it for the whole school, still targeting our free and reduced students, making sure they're getting what they need, but using those funds to benefit everyone. And so we have submitted an application for South Terrace to become a school-wide program that would allow us to do our early intervention Title I across both schools instead of just North Elementary. So we'll hear, but we do have to say that we have done that. We have to share that publicly, and that application will be online as well. And it's the school improvement plan that we've had for South Terrace. So nothing new or crazy going on there, but just wanted to make sure that you're aware and that that's shared publicly, that we are working to do that, to share those title dollars.
Someone else have anything to add?
I'll add to the summer run thing. I have one doing that this teacher that lives in Evansville drives out every Tuesday and Thursday morning. And she invited 20 kids could sign up to run with, or they can walk. She's not pressuring anybody to run, but my marshal has ran like 4 miles each time. And I didn't know he could run more than one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's really great of her that she's willing to come out here and do that with them.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to lead with the academic calendar issue because you want more people to know about it, especially at the elementary level, and maybe clarify and explain it. Could you tell me the difference between option 2 and option
We
3?
should have copies of those.
Do you somewhere? Yeah,
We
if
can
you
get
could give it,
those.
I'd appreciate it.
I know they're in the board packet. We'll make sure you get those. So it's,
I can get you copies for you.
Okay.
our next meeting will be July 14th, back here. And motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
One second.
We are adjourned.
Hey, Michelle, what's an IPLI summer seminar? What's IPLI? Do you remember?
It's the principal leadership.
Oh, principal leadership.